Well, amid accusations the Monsanto Corporation enjoys protection from the authorities, a recent report showed the US government has been aggressively lobbying for GM foods all across the world. RT America correspondent Megan Lopez reports.
For years now, Americans have been concerned about the food in their refrigerators and, more importantly, the ingredients in those foods. The debate over genetically modified crops isn't only playing out in the fields, it's being harvested in the courtrooms as well as within the walls of Capitol Hill. And it turns out the U.S. government might have a bigger stake in the biotech industry than anyone could have imagined. A report released by the Food and Water Watch Group shows that the U.S. State Department played a major role in promoting GM foods and crops around the world. The report examined diplomatic cables from 2005 to 2009 to provide the first comprehensive analysis of U.S. foreign policy when it comes to the biotech industry. Now, here are the four stated goals that Food and Water Watch discovered in these cables. The first one is to promote biotech interests abroad. They tried to facilitate trade and encourage cultivation of GM crops. Second up, lobby foreign governments to weaken biotech rules. You can't, after all, profit off these countries if you can't get your products into them. Along with lobbying, the need to protect biotech exports by stopping trade barriers like tariffs. All this to promote and protect an estimated $25 billion industry in biotech crop exports, and in particular one company, Monsanto, which was the biggest biotech seed company in 2011. And finally, reach out to new markets by pressuring developing countries to adopt biotech crops. The main argument here is that these crops are stronger and can end food insecurity around the world with a growing global population. The State Department also lobbied against the labeling of these crops and genetically modified foods. They don't want any type of labels on them. Countries from Egypt to Hungary, Argentina to Mozambique were targeted in these efforts, and many of them were very receptive. Some of them actually changed their regulations as a result. Now, this lobbying started happening around the same time that Monsanto admitted to bribing Indonesian officials in an attempt to weaken environmental oversight of GE crops. Now, in the wake of these cable releases, it appears that Monsanto and other biotech firms don't need to bribe country officials anymore. They have the government to do that using taxpayer money nonetheless. It is the latest chapter in a dispute over your dinner plate. In Washington, Megan Lopez, RT.
And stay with us throughout the day for live updates on the protests against Monsanto as a wave of anger over the biotech giant goes global.
A GMO giant with the backing of a government, sowing seeds of unrest around the world. Breaking the food chain, the march against Monsanto. On RT.